Welcome back to the vlog. Today we're playing at Jamul Casino just outside of San Diego. This is also the home of Cato, also known as Poker Beast. He has a vlog. If you haven't seen his vlog yet, please check it out. It's very entertaining. Really enjoy watching it. Anyway, this is his home casino, and I can tell you that they love him there. Whenever you see someone who signs up on the board as Poker Beast, and the floormen get a giggle out of it and they all enjoy it, and so they're very aware of him, and I think they're very appreciative of the advertising that he brings to the casino. In fact, I wouldn't be there unless Cato was there. So I contacted Cato a few days before the trip, and he was in Las Vegas. He said he would be back for Wednesday. We were planning to leave Wednesday morning, but I decided to stick around one more day just so I could meet up with him Wednesday night. Apparently the casino has a nice drawing then for all the regulars. They start handing out money around 6 p.m. So I got there around 6, signed up, got in the game fairly quickly into a 1-3 game. I also had a splitting headache. I wasn't feeling my best, and I took some medicine before I went there, and hoping it would kick in and keep me going. Cato unfortunately was not there. He just got back from Vegas, as I said, and he was quite tired. He didn't make it into the casino that night, which was unfortunate for him because they did call his name twice during the drawing, and I think each time it was worth $600, so he lost out on $1,200 and the chance of playing with me and taking some of my Dougie dough. Anyway, we jumped into the 1-3. We played for a while. I stuck around as long as I could. My head was not doing good, and when you have a migraine and you're in a loud casino, it's not a good combination. On top of that, I had some very difficult hands that I had to play, and I tried to play them the best I could. But after a while, I just waved the white flag and decided to call it an evening. And anyway, sit back, relax, enjoy. I hope you like it. Here it comes. We jump into the 1-3 game at Jamul Casino and buy in for the max, which is only $300. There's not a lot of chips on the table. A lot of the players are buying in for a short amount. We watched the action for about a half an hour, trying to figure out who's a player and who is not. And it looks like we have a couple nits at the table, and there's a few action players that overvalue their hands quite a bit. So the combination is pretty good. I have a super nit on my left, so that gives me the button basically twice per round, because he's not going to be playing anything unless he has something very, very good. So I can raise a lot of hands, and this is a perfect example. I'm in the cutoff with Jack 8 of hearts. I decide to raise the limpers. There were 4 limpers in, and I made it 20. They all seem to call, only the blinds fold out. Flop is very favorable, Jack, Jack, King. This one kind of plays itself. When they checked me, I'm going to bet C-bet roughly 40% of the pot. I end up getting one caller. He is a active player, but he seems to have some clue what's going on. The other players all fold out. We see a turn card, and it's a complete blank. I'm thinking if he has some sort of draw like Queen 10 or maybe even a King, he might look me up. So I size up a bit. I'm trying to increase my betting sizes. I have a tendency to bet too small on most streets. So I bet larger, and he doesn't think too long before he puts in the fold. I don't think these players are used to people betting on the larger size, so that might work to my advantage later on in the session. So we take this first pot down. We get off to a decent start after sitting around for a half hour, and we're off to the next hand. So we're in the small blind. We look down at 2 aces. There was an under the gun raise to 12 and 2 callers. So this is an excellent situation to go ahead and put the 3-bet in. I sized to 45. In my casino, raised to 45 after someone opens for a raise and gets 2 calls. It's going to get called by somebody. I was hoping just to narrow it down to 1 or 2 players. And after the first player folds under the gun, there was just a little daisy chain reaction and everyone else just starts mucking their hands. So I guess I'll just take this $36 pot without any fight, but I was really looking for some action. The very next hand I pick up ace king on the button. It's all limp to me. I put in a raise to 20 and then I get the old limp re-raise. And the person was all in for $60. There's no way I'm going to get away from this, even though I expect to be shown a very strong hand. Flop is nothing, turn is even less, and river is a complete blank. I'm pretty sure I'm dead. And he kind of slowly turns over that he had pocket aces. So no action on the aces on the first hand, and then paying off aces on the second. We get a series of hands where we're raising pre-flop and either c-betting and taking it down, or c-betting and getting raised and we're folding. So there was just a bunch of these little hands in here. Didn't get as much action I was hoping. The game's fairly tight at this point, and it's getting a little frustrating not getting any action until we pick up king queen off and we decide to go ahead and raise to 20 from the hijack. It's folded back to the under the gun limper. He ends up putting in the call. His stack is about $300. And the next middle position player, who also was limping in, also puts in the call. So we're ending up going 3 ways to a flop with 64 in the pot. And the flop is pretty good. It's king 7-8 with 2 clubs. I do not have a club in my hand, but with top pair, second kicker, I'm going to c-bet this, and I'm not happy with my size. I went a little bit smaller than I should. I bet 25. It should have been at least 30 or 35. The turn card is a 3 of clubs. It puts out the front door flush, but he checks it over, and I think he has hands like maybe king queen, king jack, king 10. So I'm going to go for value. If I get raised, I'm probably going to have to dump this hand. He puts in the call, and the way he put it in makes me think that he really has a 1 pair type of hand. And when the river card comes as a deuce of diamonds, I'm thinking I can try to squeeze out a little value. I wasn't quite sure how much to bet. I went with 75, and looking back on this, I should really size up again because my hand is very polarized at this point. I either have it or I don't. He puts in a very quick call with king jack of diamonds. I think I left a lot of chips on the table on this one, and I gotta learn from my mistakes. My headache was getting worse and still no Cato in sight. His name was up on the board, so I decided to stick it out and play a little more. We looked down at ace, deuce of spades in the cutoff, and there was a big limp fest, so I just limped behind. We have 7 players seeing the flop, and the flop comes ace, deuce, 4. So yeah, we crushed this flop. It quickly checked to us, and I lead for $10, just trying to get some action from a flush draw. And now the under the gun limper puts in the raise to 30. And the way he put in the raise really sets off some alarm bells in my mind. It seems like he really is looking to trap somebody. And my head was splitting. I acted out of turn. I didn't give the person to my right time to call. He puts in the call, so I put in the call. But I really don't like this hand already, the way he bet. I'm watching him, and the way his posture is, the way his breathing is, and the way he's handling his chips, all suggest to me that he has a monster at this point. He ends up betting $65 after the king of diamonds appears, and the player to my right quickly folds, and now I'm faced with a decision, because if I put in the call, I'm gonna probably have to call any blank card on the end, and I'm thinking that at best I might have one ace to catch, because I'm thinking pocket fours is his most likely holding. He could have something like ace four, and therefore I can catch a deuce and have a win. But if I catch a deuce, am I really comfortable when he has pocket fours? It's just a bad situation to be in. And I made some tough calls in the other vlogs, as you know, where I go with my reads. My read on this one is I am completely beat, and beat badly. So instead of losing a stack, I decided just to let it go and find a better spot to put my money to work. I know it seems like a nitty fold, but I definitely believe it was the right choice. And after playing with this player for another hour or so, I realized that he was not bluffing. I feel very comfortable with my laydown, and sometimes the money you save is just as important as the money you make. So here we have an under the gun limper, and I look down at ace king of spades. That's a pretty good hand for me to raise with, so I do so. I make it 15, and it's folded back around to the small blind. I haven't seen anyone play back at me the entire day, and now he looks down and finds a raising hand to 66. This sets off a whole bunch of alarm bells again. I'm putting him on a super premium hand, queens plus. So I'm not sure what to do with this one. I thought about folding, but I thought that would be too nitty, seeing that I have position with ace king suited. If I flop a strong hand, I can get stacks in. He has about 400 in front of him, so it's a little bit too big for me to jam and hope for him to fold. So I just put in the call and decided to play post flop. Comes 10, 9, 3, nothing, and he leads again for 65. I just want to get out of the way of this one. I don't have any backdoor draws. I just think it's a time to fold. I did pick up ace queen later on, raise with it. Flop comes nothing, had a fold. Finally I pick up a pair of queens, and this one seemed to be like a pretty good hand to play. I hear that queens are better than the average hand. So I raise with it. We get two callers, one from the big blind and another from the early position limper. Flop is a good one. Ace, queen, 10, rainbow. It's check to me. I put out a small c-bet. I really should size up a bit on this. Both players end up putting in the call. I have to put one of them on an ace and maybe another one on some sort of straight draw, or maybe even a 10. He didn't seem too anxious to call. Turn card is pretty darn good. It's a 6 of spades, so complete blank. They both checked me. I decided to size up a bit, go 2/3 pot, bet $60. And the person in the big blind puts in the call. He only has about $30 more left behind. So no matter what's coming up here, I'm not going to be folding. And they put up probably the worst card in the deck, which is the king of clubs. If he was calling with an ace, he probably didn't have ace king. He jams for $31. I flip in the call and he shows me ace jack. So not much I can do about this one. I wanted the action from the lone ace. He just happened to catch a 4-outer to beat me. There's a button straddle on this pot, and we get about 5 limpers coming in, and I look down in the big blind with ace king suited. I put in a raise to 35, and only the button puts in the call. So we're going to go heads up to a flop with 95 in, and the flop comes 7-6-3 with the 7-6 of hearts. So 2 overcards, nut flush draw against his range. Oh yeah, I'm betting. So I bet 50, and he doesn't think much at all. He puts in the call very quickly. I'm thinking that he has some sort of pair, maybe a pocket pair of some sort, or maybe a flush draw. Turn card is beautiful, 3 of hearts. Of course I'm gonna bet, and I just have about 112 left, so I just jam, and he flips in the call as soon as he gets a chance. I'd start to roll over my hand, and I noticed that a 3 came on the river to make trips, and he shows pocket 8s to take this one down, and he had a little celebration. And I decided that the way my head's feeling, I didn't want to stick around, try to battle this back. There's nothing quite like having a full-blown migraine, being in a loud casino, and running bad all at the same time. So I decided to go outside and wait for my wife to come pick me up. It took her a while. She was across the county having dinner with a friend. Overall, I thought the casino was very nice. The action was very good in some spots. Other times it was a little bit nitty, but I can really tell that this is a fun place to play, and I look forward to having a return visit when my head is feeling better. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate it, and we'll catch you next time.